Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're doing well today, this Tuesday evening, and thanks for joining me. As you know, I'm happy that you're here now, watching those of you who are here, and I know that some of you will be watching it later as well. So I just need to double check here and make sure that things are streaming the way that they're supposed to. And we'll just check that out. Okay, good. Yeah, yeah, we're good. Good to go. Good to go. Okay, that's wonderful. So, if you're watching now, oh hi Nancy, thanks for joining. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely say hello. And if you have any questions or anything during the live stream, then please ask them, and I'll do my best to answer them as we go along. So that's great. We'll just wait another minute. I know there's a couple of other people, a few more people who are wanting to join us tonight. So we continue to live in crazy times, and so that's why I've been wanting to reach out through Facebook Live as well to help provide some information for you. And so tonight we're going to be learning how I'm going to be chatting about how we can combine practical action steps with stress relief techniques, which is a really powerful combo. And we'll get into that more as we go along. Oh, that's great, Nancy. Thanks so much for the feedback. I'm coming through loud and clear. That's awesome. That's always good to know. So that's great. Okay. Um, Nancy and everyone else who's joining us here and will be joining us, how are you doing? Oh my goodness. This pandemic has been and continues to be one of the biggest causes of the highest levels of fear and stress and anxiety in the history of the world. It's affecting everyone globally. It's affecting all of us collectively, all at the same time. And I know in my conversations with friends and with family members and with my patients, there's a lot of fear. And even though things are starting to improve a bit in terms of, numbers of COVID cases are going down, the number of people recovering are going up, and, the economy is starting to open up a bit, there's still a high level of fear. And, I know some people who haven't left their home in 6 weeks, not even to go out to the grocery store. And I get that. I totally understand the fear. There's the virus itself in terms of, people who have gotten sick or have had a loved one or acquaintance get sick or pass away. I know several years ago, I was in a similar situation with my dad who was in a long-term care facility while a flu was going through with both staff and residents. So I know what that's like. It's very stressful. And of course, it's affecting all of us financially as well. So in terms with job losses, maybe with reduction in work hours, if you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business, some businesses are doing well, but a lot of businesses are struggling. Some businesses are closing. And there's been a lot of savings that have been lost in the stock market. And the government is spending a lot of money right now to help a lot of people, which in the short term is awesome. But in the long term, we're going to have to pay that back too. So there's lots to be stressful. There's lots to be fearful of. There's lots of things to be stressed out about. And there's lots of things to be anxious about as well. And, it's a crazy time to be alive right now. There's absolutely no question. And it's totally understandable to not be feeling safe right now. With regard to your health or with regard to your loved one's health, as well as your financial security, both in the short term and the long term. And so what I want to go through tonight is I want to talk about this ongoing fear and anxiety and how it's totally natural to be responding to the pandemic, to the financial, insecurities and financial crisis. It's totally natural to be responding that with a sense of fear. However, in the long term, it's not healthy and it's not sustainable. We're going to talk about that in a little bit more depth. And I'm also going to show you how you can combine some practical action steps with some stress relief techniques to have a really powerful combination to help you to feel safer and to help you to feel more secure, because you can't scare yourself into feeling safe. It just does not work. And then at the end, I'm going to lead you through a really simple but powerful breathing meditation that you can do virtually anytime, anywhere. I've literally done it in standing in line at the grocery store, and I'll share that story with you at the end as well. Okay, just checking comments here. That's great. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about fear. I want to talk about that a little bit more. Fear is a natural emotion. We're all hardwired to experience it. And it's our reaction to both real threats and perceived threats. I'm going to talk about the difference between those two right now. So a real threat would be meeting a mama grizzly bear and her two cubs when you're on a hiking trail. That is a real threat. I mean, you could literally, get sliced and diced and become that bear's meal. So that is a real threat. And, having your, business struggling and, having financial, huge financial concerns, like that's a real threat. Having an elderly loved one, with multiple health issues in a long-term care facility right now, being afraid of them getting COVID, that's a real threat. That's a real, that's a real concern that can generate fear. And then we have perceived threats. So that's what we get on the hamster wheel of what if. Ooh, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if the government does this? What if this happens to my business? What happens, if this happens with the stock market? What if I have to stay in this job that I absolutely hate in order to, earn money to support myself and my family? What if, what if, what if? You get on the hamster wheel of what if. So that's going through, those are examples of perceived threats. But whether you're facing a real threat or a perceived threat, your body-mind response is going to be the same. Now, for those of you who've been following me for a long time, you know that I use the term body-mind all the time because the mind and body are totally interconnected, and it's literally impossible to separate the two. Harvard Medical School's had a mind-body medicine clinic since 1982. There's, tons of area of research studying mind-body medicine, so it's so I just refer to the body mind because they're completely interconnected. And so when you're facing fear, whether it's a real fear like the mama grizzly bear and her two cubs on the hiking trail, or whether it's a perceived threat, your physiological response, your body-mind response is going to be the same. So what's going to happen is that you're going to go into what's called fight or flight mode. Sometimes it's called fight, freeze, or flight mode. And so basically what happens when we do that is that you can lose up to 70% of blood flow to your prefrontal cortex. So that's the front part of your brain that is responsible for learning and retaining new information. That is the part of the brain that's responsible for emotional regulation and making decisions. And it's also, it ties in with our creativity. So that means when you're stressed, your capacity to learn and retain new information, make good decisions, and come up with creative solutions for things is significantly reduced. We also have an increase in production and release of stress hormones as well. And so with stress hormones, cortisol, of course, is a common, is one that pretty much everybody knows about now. It's released by your adrenal glands. And so with the increased levels of cortisol, the thing with our fight or flight mode is that we were only designed to be in fight or flight mode for short periods of time. And then we were meant to be in the opposite, which is actually called rest and digest mode. We were meant to be in that for extended periods of time. So even before COVID, even before the global pandemic and financial crisis, even before all that, I mean, everyone was pretty maxed out. Stress and anxiety have been, really have been the pandemic for quite a long time. And so with when you're in fight or flight mode for long periods of time and you have high levels of cortisol circulating through your body for extended periods of time, that can be really damaging. And so it can actually promote inflammation in the body. It can cause you to heal more slowly. It can slow down healing. It can mess with your sugar metabolism. It can cause you to gain weight. It can lead to heart disease. It's been linked with diabetes and other inflammatory conditions, including arthritis. And of course, it can also affect memory and your concentration as well. Um, so um, uh, so these are all things that can happen when you're in fight or flight mode for too long a period of time, and it's not helpful, and it's unhealthy actually, and it's unsustainable. So I just want to check here. Oh, good. Okay, so Ginny's with us, and Graham. That's great to have you on board as well. That's awesome. Good. Okay, so even though our response to fear is a natural one, as I said, maintaining that level of fear and that stress and that anxiety over a long period of time, it's not healthy and it's not sustainable. So what can we do about it? Well, I want to go through, first of all, 3 practical action steps that you can take to help with that, to start feeling safer and to feel less fearful and to feel less anxious and less anxiety. So the first one is specifically directed to COVID-19. Follow health protocols, local, provincial, federal, global health organizations have health protocols in place. And so it may vary from, depending on where you live, what country you're in. I'm in Canada, maybe different if you live in the States or Australia or in Europe or in other places. So follow the guidelines that have been given to you. So the most common ones that I think are pretty global are social distancing. So staying at least 2 meters or 6 feet away from other people when you're together. Washing your hands regularly, using hand sanitizer, wearing a mask, avoid touching your face, get tested. We're really fortunate. I'm really fortunate where I live that people have ready access to testing. I know in some parts of the world it's not that available. But that's an option too. You can choose. A lot of people have been told to work from home, and a lot of people are choosing to work from home. And then, of course, self-isolating if you're not feeling well. So there's just follow the basic health protocols, and this is a way to help to keep you safe and make sure you keep up to date with the guidelines because they have been changing. They have been changing as time has been going on, and things are starting to open up a little bit more as well. So that's the practical action step number 1 that you can take is just follow the health protocols. The next one is stop scaring yourself watching the news 24/7. Oh my goodness. Um, we have more access to more information now than any time in the history of the world. And so you can literally watch news 24/7. You can have access to it either on your TV, online, through social media. And so on the one hand, yes, we all need to be informed about what's going on in the world, but you don't need to constantly bombard yourself 24/7 with negative and fear-based and fear-inducing news and continuously scaring yourself. As I said before, you can't scare yourself into feeling safe. So a practical action to help you with this is just set your cell phone timer for 5 minutes and get the news and information that you need, and then get out. I've personally, what I've been doing, actually, to be honest, I stopped watching the news in I think 2002, 2003, because I just found that it was mostly negative. It was fear mongering, and a lot of it wasn't even really news reporting. It was really speculative. So anyway, what I choose to do is to get my news online. And through this whole pandemic, that's exactly what I've been doing as well. So I have 1 or 2 news sites that I go to. And then that way I have full control because then I can scan the headlines and I can see which ones have contain information that I need or that I may be interested in. But I check things out, check the COVID numbers, check to see if there's been any, changes in protocols, and then I'm out. And I'm doing that no more than once a day. So I would invite you to do that as well, because when we're in a constant state of fear and stress, our ability to discern information that we're receiving, it goes down, it gets reduced. So I'll give you an example. So do you remember before COVID, before all of this, um, that um, before all of this, do you remember what was in the news every day? Fentanyl overdoses, fentanyl deaths. That was in the news every single day. It was the fentanyl epidemic. It was affecting, Vancouver, Calgary, major cities, well, like all around the world, really. And that was in the news every single day. Well, when was the last time you heard anything in the news about someone dying from a fentanyl overdose? Do you think that people just mysteriously stopped overdosing on fentanyl? Do you think people just mysteriously stopped dying from overdoses? No, it's just that it's not as newsworthy as the pandemic or as the financial crisis and other horrible things that are going on around the world. So it's really important to take a step back and take a step back and really discern what news and information you actually need. Whether it be for your business, whether it be for your health, whether it be, for your community, really discern what you actually need and then just get in there, get that news and then get out. And I'm just looking at some comments here. Yeah. And I know it's Ginny and Graham. Yeah, you're doing that too. And much better for your sanity. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, the next thing the next practical action step. So second practical action step number 2 is stop scaring yourself by watching the news 24/7. And then the third practical action step is to, now that you're directing your focus away from the negative, you can start directing it and focusing more time and attention and energy to positive things. Oh my gosh, there are so many wonderful interviews and TED Talks on YouTube. They're really like motivational and inspirational. There's a million and one podcasts out there that just have wonderful, again, inspirational, motivational information for like really any area of interest, whether it be mind, body health, whether it be around business, whether it be around entrepreneurship, whether it be around, parenting or grandparenting or anything that you're interested in, anything that's positive. We have so much access to positive information and also through books and audiobooks. Ebooks. So it's really important to shift your focus away from the negative. And, if you're going to be watching a lot less news, which I hope that you will be, then you'll have that much more time to be focusing on positive things. For those of you who follow me regularly, you know that I do your Best Self Minute episodes. So in my last episode actually that I did, I reviewed some research that has been done. Well, it was actually a review study looking at research that had been done over a number of years showing the health benefits of laughter and how laughter can have a positive impact on your health in terms of reducing anxiety and depression and reducing stress and improving actually healthy hormones in your body and neurotransmitters in your brain. And so, there's a ton of comedies to watch out there as well. So, so take advantage of that. So that's our practical action step number 3 is to redirect your energy to positive, inspirational, motivational information that we all have ready and easy access to. Okay, and we'll just check here. Yes, and that's right, Jenny and Graham. There are also free courses online that are good ways to change focus as well. That's right. Yeah, and I've got some courses. Content on my website, a lot that's free, and some low-priced courses as well. But there's a lot of great ones out there too. So absolutely. That's a wonderful way to be positive and to shift your focus on that. Great, 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 great. Okay, so those are our 3 practical action steps. So now I want to take us through a breathing meditation. And of course, the health benefits of meditation. I mean, there's been research done for years and continues to be done showing the benefits of meditation in terms of, helping with depression, decreasing anxiety, lowering blood pressure, and lowers stress hormones, help to lower cortisol hormones, all sorts of wonderful positive benefits. Now, the 2 things that people usually have resistance about with meditation, number 1 is people say they don't have time. And the second thing that usually people are challenged with is they say, I can't quiet my mind. Well, you're going to love this breathing meditation that I'm going to show you because it's super easy to do, and it takes care of those two concerns. And so, with the breathing meditation, I want to make sure with this breathing meditation, you can literally do it anytime, anywhere. As I said, I've done it standing in line at the grocery store. But for tonight, I'm assuming that you're going to be sitting. So just sit comfortably, make sure that you're well supported, have your feet nice in contact with the floor. You can have your hands on your lap, and you can have your hands either up, face up, or you can have your hands face down, whatever you're most comfortable with. And just make sure you don't have any distractions. Make sure, you don't have anything in the oven or on the stove or something that requires your attention. Make sure, kids or pets are taken care of. If you happen to be doing this at work, make sure that there's nothing else that directly needs your attention. And, make sure that you're in a safe location. So with the breathing meditation, I love this breathing meditation because it combines the benefits of meditation with the benefits of breathing. And doing healthy, deep diaphragmatic breathing, when we're stressed out, actually, our diaphragm tends to constrict. And so with um, with that, then we tend to do more upper chest breathing and more shallow breathing. But when you're breathing in a healthy manner, using your diaphragm and doing that nice diaphragmatic breathing, you're getting in more oxygen, you're getting rid of more carbon dioxide. It sends a calming signal to your brain, and energetically as well, it helps to balance energy systems in the body too. So there's lots of and actually deep breathing, there was some research that was done that says that it helps with emotional regulation, meaning that we can be more in control of our emotions, or more calmer, basically. So lots of benefits to just breathing. And so if we can combine this in with a breathing meditation, even better. So what I'm going to do here in a moment is I'll lead us through this meditation. And what we'll be doing is we'll be taking 10 deep breaths in and out. So breathe in for 5 seconds and breathe out for 5 seconds. When you're doing deep breathing, it's important to make sure that the amount of air that you breathe in is equals the amount of air that you breathe out. And so we'll be going through that, and we'll repeat that 10 times. And with the mantra that we're going to be doing, I love mantras. Mantras, it's just, I think both of you are familiar with, or whoever's watching right now is familiar with meditation. Whoever may be watching this a little bit later might not be. So a mantra is just a word or a phrase that helps your mind to focus. And so the one that I'm going to be using tonight and sharing with you is just a simple one I really love. And as you inhale, you just say in your mind, I breathe in relaxation. And then as you exhale, you say, I breathe out tension. And I'll be leading you through this. But it's just really simple. I breathe in relaxation. I breathe out tension. And so it's a really wonderful mantra because it's positive. It's sending a positive message to your brain. But then it also helps your mind to focus. So if you start getting distracted about some things that you may be worried or anxious about, you can just refocus on the mantra as you're going through the breathing meditation. So so let's just go through this right now. And you can have your eyes open, you can have your eyes closed. And I know what else I wanted to share. In terms of breathing, for this particular meditation, it doesn't matter how you're doing your breathing. You can breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. You can breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. If you have allergies, you can breathe in through your mouth and out through your mouth. Just whatever works out best for you. I know with different types of meditations, there's specific breathing, but for this one, just whatever breathing way is comfortable for you, just go ahead and do that. Okay, so let's get started. And you can have your eyes open or closed, just whatever is most comfortable for you. Okay, so here we go. A nice deep breath in. I breathe in relaxation. I breathe out tension. 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 And I breathe in relaxation. I breathe out tension. Great. Just tune into your body. How do you feel compared to when we started? Do you feel maybe shoulders are a little bit more relaxed, or is there maybe a little bit less tension? Sometimes you can feel a little bit tingly with the deep breathing because you're getting in more oxygen and getting rid of more carbon dioxide. I really love this meditation because you can make a significant change in your body in a relatively short period of time. Yeah, when I say relatively short period of time, I mean literally in under 2 minutes if you're just taking 10 deep breaths in and out. And you can certainly do that for longer. I mean, if you're at home, and you're not pressed for time, there's nothing else that you need to be doing. You could do that meditation for several minutes if you wanted to. The reason I take people through when I show them, I just take them through 10 breaths in and out, is I like to show how easy it is to make a profound shift in your health and your well-being, and to release stress and anxiety and tension and fear in a short period of time. And it's something that, as I said, you can virtually do anytime, anywhere. Good. Okay. Yeah. Feeling nice and relaxed. Yeah, it's very simple, but it's a very powerful one, and it's a great one. It's a great one to be doing. Some of you might know this story already, if you do, then bear with me because there'll be some people who aren't familiar with it. Several years ago, I ended up going to the grocery store on a holiday weekend because I had missed getting, I think, like 4 or 5 items when I had been grocery shopping earlier in the week. So I typically avoid high traffic, high volume times at the grocery store. But this is just the way that it had worked out. So anyway, so I went in. And of course, there's just like a ton of people. And so I get the items that I need, and then I go to the checkout. And not all of the checkout lanes were open. So I got in sort of the shortest line, and there were 4 or 5 people ahead of me with like heaping grocery carts, full of groceries. And so I was counting with the number of people ahead of me and kind of doing the math. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to be here for, and the even the express lane was full, and long lineup there as well. So anyway, I was doing the math and I thought, yeah, I'm going to be here for like at least 30 minutes, maybe longer. And I made a decision in that moment in time to I had a choice. So I could have easily gotten irritated at myself for being so silly for forgetting these items, earlier in the week when I was at the grocery store, and, coming in at this time when it was so busy. I could have been irritated at the store that not all the checkouts were open when, clearly it's an extremely busy time. And I could have been really irritable about that, but I chose not to be. What I did instead is I thought, you know what, I'm just going to stand in line here and do this breathing meditation. And so I started because I thought, it's free time. It's a gift actually, because I've got, there's nowhere else for me to be and nowhere else I can go right now. And so I decided to do a breathing meditation while I was standing in line at the grocery store. So I had been doing this breathing meditation for like maybe barely a minute, and a woman came up in line behind me, and she had a small basket like I did with several items, and she started complaining about how, they didn't have all the lanes open, and on how we were going to be there for a long time. And so I turned to her and I said, yeah, it is kind of busy. I said, but you know what? I'm just standing here doing a breathing meditation. And she goes, oh, really? She says, wow, that's really cool. So we started having this conversation about the benefits of breathing meditations and how easy it is to do. And it was so funny because we're having this lovely conversation. And then I felt this tap on my shoulder and I turned, and it was one of the cashiers was opening up a new lane, and so she had come to me and invited me to go through and to purchase my groceries. Now, what I found interesting about this was I found several things interesting about this actually. One is that she could have very easily tapped on the shoulder of the woman ahead of me who had a grocery cart full of groceries, and that would have been totally fine and for me to follow her. But she didn't. She picked me. And what I know, it's quite interesting. There's research that shows that emotions are contagious. They're actually called emotional contagions. And that's true for both negative emotions, but also positive emotions. And I mean, we know that intuitively, when you're around happy people, you feel good. You pick up on that. You pick up on that vibe. Just the same as if someone's really super stressed out or they're angry or they're upset, you pick up on that too. So when we make the choice to relieve our stress, to be more relaxed, to choose to be happy and to think, maybe more positive thoughts than what we're thinking at the moment, that makes a difference not only for our own health and well-being, but that has a positive impact on people around us, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. And so I just love this story that with the meditation, it had a benefit not only for myself in that moment, but I was able to then engage in conversation with the woman behind me. And then I was also chosen to go through the checkout. So literally, I actually ended up only standing in line for 5 minutes when I thought I was going to be there for 30 or 40 minutes. So that's my grocery store story for doing this breathing meditation. So you literally can do it anytime, anywhere, and who knows what wonderful benefits you'll you'll experience. The other thing I love about this meditation and is that because it's so simple to do, it's a really great one to be doing at regular intervals throughout your day, because stress tends to build as the day goes on. So I usually invite people to, or recommend people to do this at the top of each hour, once an hour. You can do it more frequently if you want to, depending on your situation. But it's simple to do. It only takes a few minutes to do and a couple of minutes to do. You can do it, as I say, you can do it longer if you want, but you can do it when, if you're working from home, you can do it. If you're, working in an office or, I'm working in a clinic, you can do it quite easily. And so I recommend doing it once an hour because it has really powerful benefits for your health and for your well-being, and you can accomplish that very easily and in a relatively short period of time. And if you want to use a different mantra, you can totally use a different mantra. I just like this one. I breathe in relaxation. I breathe out tension because it's easy, it's positive, and it fits in nicely with the breathing pattern. Okay. We'll just check here. Okay, that's awesome. Good. Okay, that's great. I just wanted to let you know, if you don't know already, about a freebie that I have on my website. That is Learn How to Relieve Your Stress in 3 minutes or less. It's a PDF. It's a free copy. So if you want to go to my website, you can download it there. And you can just go to my homepage and you'll see it there at the top. And if there's anyone else you think could benefit from that, well, then just invite them over to the website too. The other thing that I've done is I've done a recap of this, going through the 3 practical action steps as well as how to do the breathing meditation. I've created a recap on my website as well. So if you go to my homepage and then scroll down, there's a section, Your Best Self Minute plus Facebook recaps. And so if you think that you might have missed anything or you want to review anything, then you can totally go there and check that out. That's super. Okay. Are there any questions or comments as we wrap up? So just with my website, you can just go to drjenniferharrison.com. And I have a ton of free content there as well, which many of you know. about, and it's really important for us to practice self-care at this time, with stress and fear levels being so high. And so I'm so glad that you're able to join me tonight, and you might be watching this later. So I hope that you find this helpful, and that you implement these 3 practical action steps with the breathing meditation, because it really is a great way to go from your stressed self to your best self. Good. And I'm just going to swing over to comments here. Okay, great. Yeah, love the blue. Oh, great. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks, Graham. Nancy, thanks for being with us tonight. That's awesome. Good. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap things up. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will let you know the next time I do another Facebook Live, which will probably be next week. Okay, take care. Good night.